E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Play CSGO? Discover more than 5 various kinds of bets just for a single map. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins, but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CSGO Fast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Welcome back to the Starladder iLeague Star Series Season 2. My name is TomBiz14, and I will be here with Flakes once again. And, well, we're going into our second sort of qualification spot. Whoever wins this will be through to the LAN. Whoever loses will be going on to face Envious. So, not exactly the friendliest way to lose. You will have to go and face a, well, what you'd hope to be a pretty good team, but they didn't manage to beat Dignitas, who are now through. Of course, the two teams in question, we are going to be watching Team X versus HellRaisers, and, well, to start things off, who are you going to be watching?
I think for me, I look at HR and go, very solid team, potential to be huge. We see Smike really popping up in a couple of interesting ways every now and then. So I do look at HR and go, you know, I'd put 60% maybe in your favor. But that's kind of where my odds are. I think it's very much a 60-40 matchup. I don't think this is rapidly, you know, off the cards. And I think it's possible. I think this one literally could swing either way.
Well, the big thing as well is, from what we saw from Team X yesterday, Valde was a god on both maps, just running around, fragging anybody who was in his way. We saw pretty much the whole team just have moments on that second map that were just phenomenal. They 16-0'd. That says you don't really need to say anything more than that. They 16-0'd FaZe. That's just madness. And now we do have the map veto coming in. And, well, what were the maps yesterday? We saw Mirage and Cobblestone, right? So, already looking at this, likelihood is we're going to see those maps again.
I have a feeling that's kind of the way we are swinging. Taking a look at the bans that are coming, it will be Cash, Nuke, Overpass, and Train to be nuked out of the pool, which means DOS2 is going to be the first pick to roll in. Cobble soon to follow. That leaves us over on our decider map, which will of course be Mirage. And I look at this and I go, Cobblestone, I reckon Team X have a very solid chance. They have this explosive T side that personally I really love watching. Team X on their CC side, I do feel they could do with adding a little bit more depth in terms of the way they play it across different map pools. On Mirage, I do like what they can bring to the table, but it also comes down to whether we'll make it that far. Because of course we do have Dust 2, very much an aim-based map. Yeah. Where it comes down to, we could see a player like Valde just go absolutely huge and just be this godlike player we've seen in the past. But at the same time, HR, they do have some fairly impressive players in their lineup. We've seen even a player like Smike who can just, you know, kick back into this Bastion mode, just popping heads left, right, and center, just holding down short in Occasion B-esque fashion. Yeah, I actually quite like Zero as well. Zero is probably my favorite player in this team, a youngster, 17 years of age, and since the, well, sort of loss of Oscar especially, we've seen him just really step up in big series and go huge. And, well, the big thing for me is what sort of Team X are we going to see? They've been pretty damn good across the tournament so far. I'm pretty sure they won every single match in their group stage. And they've continued to do that, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be here. They beat Dignitas, obviously, with a stand-in, but at the same time, they were still doing pretty well there. Came back from a losing point to come all the way back. And they're definitely a team, I have to say, I want to see at the LAN. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this team has to offer, because a lot of what we were seeing before this was, oh, they lost Magisk. How are they going to come back from that? Are they just going to be picking up scraps and then everything will fall apart and that team will eventually disband? And so far, we haven't seen that at all. Like, we saw them lose two maps yesterday and then against FaZe, and then come back and win the next two, losing 4-5 rounds total. That's insane. You don't see a lot of teams that do that. But the other interesting point is the fact that we have very much an Oscar-less lineup from the HR side of things, which could prove to be a bit of an impact. We've seen them play in the past, of course, since that has took place. Smike, he's been a player that's been able to do some damage of his own. And I do like what they can do, but of course it's enough of us talking because we're apparently kicking straight into the pissed round. Not quite sure who had the decision to roll on the sides, but it doesn't matter as it will be Snappy to kick things off. He takes down Bondic, doing the damage with the Glock. Now trying to play these close range. It will be Sticko. He's got this P2000 in hand. Looking down towards mid. Glaive going to be the one playing up close. But it will be Smythe to bring it straight back into their favor.
Yeah, even scenario already starting things off. We are going to be looking to see whether or not we'll have a similar T-side of Envious or something a little bit different. Of course, both teams actually in the last match we saw were actually fairly weak over on that T-side. Not anything too impressive, but Glaive, he is going to open things back up, finding another frag already, leaving this into an advantageous position for Team X, and a couple of players still standing in their way. Switching over, Free's going to go for the headshot, but it will be Sticko to open things back up, leaving it into a 3v3, and, well, the HP definitely in favor of the T side, but other than that, we've still got a kit onto Zero, a nade as well in his hand, and not too much to really play with on the other side of things, just the one smoke on Snappy.
Still going to be a 3 versus 3, so it could swing in either team's fashion, but it comes down to these frags and whether they can get themselves onto the site. Of course, we're seeing a bit of aggression roll out from Team X. The one problem I have with this is where that bomb is found itself. It will be Valley to find himself a frag. Takes down Angel, looking to take it one step further. Will be Sticko looking to bring it back into the favor, but it's just not quite working out. The shots not quite connecting. A Snappy will take him down, and that's all going to be on Zero. He might be a strong player, certainly one to watch, but really have what it takes to pull off a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, and that's the sort of scenario he's in at the moment. A lot to do. The peek from Glaive will also give away his position, which is going to make things a hell of a lot worse. And already we see Glaive peek out and find that first frag, or last frag, I should say. Either way, that's going to be the 1-0 scenario for the Danish side of things. Starting off nicely, we will see already the force buy coming in from them, or just a buy, I suppose. And on the other side of things, we are looking at a force itself. A scout coming in onto Sticko. Smike going to be purchasing up the Deeg, but not too much into this round, and not actually going to go for any armor. Now we see the sort of rifles come into play as well. 3 rifles on the board. We have the scout onto Freeze and Moddy with the SMG, but already we see a little bit of aggression coming in towards mid. Doesn't seem to be going too aggressive just yet, and well, there's a little bit of a counter in play from Zero, playing very up close and personal, looking to try and bring this back. Already going to be spamming away, not finding anything just yet, but does do a little bit of damage onto Moddy, and well, now we're looking to see what the T's can actually do. The push will come out. Angel will grab one as well, so Snappy going to be dropped, and that's going to leave things a little bit more possible for the T side.
Yeah, certainly an opportunity, but they're going to be playing this one nice and slow. Angel going to find himself what seems to be sound finally. Going to kick him back in, so that's nice and good. As now we look to see whether Team X can claw this one back into the favor. They have the one-man disadvantage. The potential to claw things back certainly will exist as the smoke's going to be raining down towards that mid to be set up. But I think that's going to slightly miss it. Will mean the resmoke will have to come out, but Moddy's just going to make it work. 22 with a Mac 10. HellRaisers just pushing right on into it as now it will be on Sticko's shoulders, holding on towards the back of this B side. But can he be a pinnacle? The answer is going to be no. He's going to fall. The scout having no impact at all. It's now 1 by 1 HR. They seem to be falling down. They had what seemed to be a good opportunity. That's all just went awry. Just an AK in the hands of Smike, a CZ in the hands of Bondic. He might have the armor to play with. And I've got to say, I'd even look and say Smike and Bondic should just swap at this point. I do want to see that rifle in the hands of at least a player with some armor to play with.
Well, it looks like they're just going to go for the save. I think this is a very smart decision. Bondic sort of baiting them back towards long to see if he can find anything additional, possibly grab himself a rifle, and then they do have something to play with in the next round. Of course, Smike does have that extra little bit of money. I would say really dropping it over to someone else and allowing them to buy some Kevlar would be an idea, or just giving it over to Bondic for the CZ. However, he's got to try and survive himself. The push will be coming in onto long. Of course, Valde doesn't want to give away another rifle. That would be way too valuable in this sense. But Team X, they lose 1 AK. Looks like they will have to purchase something back up in this scenario. And, well, we do actually have the odds on the table, and Team X actually favored in this sort of circumstance. So clearly the recent games showing. As I feel like in terms of odds, that's not actually that surprising, because they have been very good as of recent, haven't been losing too many games, showing themselves against some better opponents. And well, now they're going to have to try and do that once again. And of course, a lot of people after the loss of Oscar are a little bit skeptical about the HellRaisers lineup. Either way, we are going to have that AK onto Smike. No armor behind it. And I am a little bit intrigued why Bondic doesn't have it.
Indeed, still just that recurring old question. Smike, you need to let go. It might be important to you. But I have a feeling it could spell a very awkward end if you don't just do that, as now Zero will be the first man to fall. Team X dishing out a little bit more damage, trying to see if they can maybe just find themselves another member of the HR side, dishing out even further of an impact. Once we look to see what the Ukrainian team can bring to the marker. They have got that rifle in place still in the hands of Smike, but if he can hit the shots, not going to knock him. It all comes down to him being able to have the accuracy. Today, maybe not the best day to be competing for a marksmanship award as Team X. They don't actually look like they want to be heading towards A just yet. They are biding their time, running this clock down, utilizing every second they got to play with. They're going to be barreling straight out towards mid. Modi going to be smoking off that needs to be smoked once again. Angel, he's going to try and find something with a deagle. It's just not going to work out. Modi with the Mac 10 trying to repeat similar success, rattling off the shots will dish out enough damage. It'll be Sticko left distracted, confused. The Valley will be around to take him down.
Already, it's going to be a nice kill. Only leaving Bondic left alive. Doesn't have too much left to play with, and will be falling back into this circumstance. Already, it's now going to be the sort of AKs and everything saved at this point, and not really looking like there's going to be too much available. Bondic will be pushing, trying to do a little bit more, but doesn't look like there's going to be any chance for him in this round.
I just want to talk about that scout shot straight through the smoke. That really just caught me by surprise. Wasn't expecting to see that take place at all. Well, Team X kicking things off with one hell of a T side. Of course, early days just yet. HR not really being able to make too much of a response, looking towards their first buy rounds. Talking to what will be the culmination of this third round. It will be Bondic with the CC and the armor. Taking it well and truly in at a fourth round, so just helping out the economy somewhat. This Team X will be looking to stabilize theirs. And well, you have to ask the question, glossing over the fact that HR can now bring some money to the table. On Team X, will they go for a rebuy? Will they drop this scout?
I'm not so sure. I think this is not so much a bonus round, but more just a we can buy in the next round anyway. Not really too much point. It looks like he's just happy to play with the scout. Smite going to be picking up that AWP, looking for the tag. Will have done more damage, of course, if he had the AWP through those doors, but still the potential. We've already seen players, especially on the Chinese side of things, being able to hit those shots through the doors, but here comes the aggression. Bondic doing the work already, finding a couple of frags, and now Modi looking for a little bit more. Trying to bring this one back into their favor. Flashbang will be going out. Bondic still over towards Pit. A little bit of an isolated situation, but he does have Smike now pushing him with the AWP, but counter nades are going to try and allow Modi to actually fall back. Going to go aggressive now and almost find Smike, not able to connect the shots, and Smike will actually end the life of Freeze. But in the meantime, we have seen Valde push over towards middle, take the M4, going to be a little bit more sneaky beaky with the silencer, and of course after having a Galil, it's definitely a worthy upgrade, but now we're sort of looking at what this T-side can do. 2 versus 3, man disadvantage, and no real map presence.
Zero, he's the soldier over towards B. Certainly has a hefty job in front of him. We are seeing that smoke roll out from Valde. He wants to creep himself up towards the site, playing around these angles. But Zero, he says no, you're not allowed any HP. The only thing you're going to is going to be your grave as well. He pushes in there in a very early fashion, straight through the smoke. Modi going to be caught out throwing a smoke as well. This will fall into a very awkward end. HR, they've made this buy round work and they brought it back to 1 round on the board. But you mentioned something going into this round. It was that Team X, they have money to play with. They can go for the rebuy. Not going to be too huge of an impact. The one thing is that maybe Valde will drop his teammate a rifle over towards Glaive, which should allow the 5 rifles and Orb to come to play.
Yeah, now looking at what the T's can do to bounce back here. Freeze picking up that AWP. We knew that he had enough money to do so. It was now sort of the factor whether or not they can actually break back this economy. And, well, the real problem is whether or not they can actually make this one work. Smite going to be playing very, very close. And trying to make this work with the AWP. It's not going to be the best sort of circumstance, but, well, whether or not this can actually work, I mean, yeah, really be sure. We are looking over towards this B side at the moment. A couple of players sort of building up, and really, again, it's just sort of a very slow round coming out from the Team X side of things. Looking like they are going to try and do this over towards middle, possibly go towards short. We've seen a lot of short play coming in from Team Envious earlier in the game, and didn't really work out for them. This time they're going to try and take over middle. Looking towards Valde as that sort of split position, but aggressive will be Angel. He finds himself too. Manages to trade it back his Modi, and in the meantime, Valde going to be pushing out. He grabs another. This opens up the side a little bit, but look at Sticko. He needs to find at least a couple here, and he does. Now it's just going to be down to 1. Valde to try and bring this one back, otherwise they will be suffering a little bit in the terms of the economy. The bomb not in a good scenario either, and Smike just holding the window.
It needs to dish out some damage. It's really all falling apart. Now, HR, they are looking very strong. They're making these buy rounds work, doing what needs to be done. Valde, well, he might be a god at times. Maybe go follow for 1 versus 3. I think maybe just a little too much to ask. As it will be Sticko to do the damage of the Famous, bringing it back to a much closer fashion. A 2-3 scoreline. And this time around, Team X, they might have money, but it's going to be nowhere near enough to get a stable buy. But it still will be that force-up coming into effect.
Yeah, not wanting to let the CTs get away with a big economy boost. They're going to try and make this one work. Of course, they do have just a pistol on one of their players and freeze with the scout is not going to be the ideal scenario, but if they can get themselves back into contention quickly, then of course it will be a much more viable position. However, on the other side of things, you have to talk about they will have some extra money at least into the next round, 2,400 no matter what, but it won't be enough to get a buy, and they will just be waiting in essence for that sort of 7th round, 8th round sort of buy to come in. Either way, we are looking now at the CT side and what they have to offer. They've got the AWP onto Smike, and they've got their rifles across the board. That's the main thing, really. They don't have a hell of a lot of money for a rebuy, so they don't want to be losing this round. And, well, we can actually see, by the looks of things, they're sort of building up towards a short play. Still got plenty of nades to play with, a couple of Molotovs as well. And let's see what positions they're actually going to clear out with those very grenades.
Yeah, utility usage is key. On Dust 2, there's not too much you can do. I think, for the most part, this map has been explored by a good chunk. But this time, we're seeing a couple of smokes expended towards mid, one being expended towards the tips of short, which won't be too much of a disadvantage of H-Shard just yet. Smike, the one man, looking like he will be just disrupted. It's only going to be a minor position change. It's the waterfall coming in full swing. Waterfall has to have something flowing at the other side. It's just not happening. Valde, the only man to walk away alive, will find himself one, but he's just being rattled down straight through the smoke. The frag will roll in. Now it's going to be 2 members standing, soon to be 1. Free's going to fall. Smike coming in with a jumping orb shot to take down Snappy. And well, that is that round done and dusted. Smike going huge in that round alone, finding one of his own with a jump shot.
He hit
Sticko
that twice.
coming in with 2.
He hit that twice. Oh, that's just so broken.
Quickly says hello.
Oh my god. Not only once, but then jumps off a second time and ends him. That's just mean. Either way, it is going to be the CTs getting themselves another round back onto the board. T's now, they did get the bomb down, so they'll be able to go for a few pistols and get a little bit of an additional buy together other than just the sort of nothing they would have had otherwise. But on the other side of things, with the extra money from the next, they should be able to have a fall buy. So expecting them to come back a little bit more in the next. Of course, we have seen some crazy pistol rounds already. Smike going to be going aggressive for the first shot and taking a little bit of damage now. Has to be careful. Modi going to go very aggressive, but it will be Smike and Sticko with the backup to keep those early frags going their way.
There's a couple of damage being done. These pistols seemingly just locked out of this round. You can hear the Deagles just spamming away. Valde, the man trying to do the work for his team. But it's just going to be not today. Sticko going to be mowing them down. Freeze. He's going to find himself one with a pistol. But it seems like it's just going to be a quick and easy mop-up. He will get himself a rifle, but his life is quick to end, as it will be Smike to take down Freeze. And Team X, well, they seem to be falling behind a little. But we can't knock the fact that this game in the early on stages has been very much back and forth.
Yeah, a few closer rounds. The economy isn't ridiculous on the CT side, but it has started to build, so can't really knock them just yet. Sticko having a couple of big rounds, currently 9-4, and we've seen him take games into his own hands as well, so looking like could go either way. Depending on how this round actually goes, we may see a more dominant victor of this first half, but either way, Glaive looking like he's going to try and take this sort of mid position. We've seen some pretty damn good CT sides come out from Team X in the past, so no matter what happens in this half, I'm still going to be feeling pretty confident on their behalf, but either way, still looking towards just this round and this round alone. Sticko's picked up a secondary AWP. They've got a couple of AKs that they've taken out of the dead hands of the Danish, and well, now they're going to try and continue this on in this one. Already we see a little bit of aggression coming out from Smike towards long, and there's a secondary AWP over towards B, so just individually playing towards the site, no mid-aggression just yet. They do have themselves Bondic on short and a CT player of Angel. Either way, they've got that little bit of a crossfire over towards mid, which I quite like. But here we go. Glaive going to be the first one out. In fact, actually a little bit further over than I thought. Angel's actually not in CT. He's just playing in the corner, and this leaves them quite isolated towards mid. This means Zero's going to have to do a lot of work as they try to push in. They do have Sticko, but it should be a split coming in from the T side. But there's Angel. He's going to push it aggressively. Now they have to be very careful as coming in from behind will be Angel. Sticko going to find one, looking for more, but he misses the shot. And now Modi, he's found 2 to open this round back up. Bondic and his teammate going to be pushing in, but actually the flash blinds Angel, and that's going to be even more problematic as Modi grabs himself a third.
These doors just being slammed, shot dead in their faces. Freeze going to be the man with the AWP to try and hold this one off towards door. Bondic looking like he wants to just pry open a gap towards window. Will drop in nice and safely, being dished out for 49 HP, but Valde there to take him down. And now let's all clean on Smike. He will find himself one on towards Modi. Goes for the second, but Valde once again picks up the frag for his team. And Team X, they're going to claw themselves back to a 4-4 scenario. Back and forth, we will go this game. Looking like it does certainly not want to be a one-sided affair. As now Team X, well, they're doing a good job to keep things in check. Well, just take a look at the economy. It's not going to be favoring either team. It's going to be, for the most part, a fairly equal buy. Both teams are not really looking too good on utility. I'd say HR certainly on the worst side of things, but on their CT side, if they can manage it correctly, they shouldn't be looking too rough.
Now, we look to see what is actually going to be the CT way of playing this round. They've gone aggressive towards long to start, but not found anyone there just yet, as it's a bit of a late push coming in from Snappy. Again, middle presence seems to be the key, as Sticker going to find a tag. They've brought back up this double AWP setup, which is something to notice, especially in terms of their economy. Smike this time playing towards short. He's yet to really peek out, and if he is, Moddy's actually holding the angle, so has to be a little bit careful. Should know he's there now. Will have seen the scope of the rifle, and this could be it. But there he goes, finds another tag. It's going to be both players now, both AWPers finding tags, but unfortunately Smike will just lose his head.
Looking very rough. Smike, unfortunately, the first to fall. But take a look at the HP of Team X. It's nowhere near what you want to be seeing. Moddy on 20, Glaive on 15. They're just going to be sitting on the brink of death. But will it pay off in their favour? Zero going to be the first to find a frag. Looking for a second Angel there to mop things up. Freeze finally going to enter the scoreboard with one with the AWP. But Zero, he's just doing so much work. This one-man army raining the shots down. Sticko to find the last. Well, HR, they're going to find themselves now on 5. And Team X left with an economy in tatters. You look at one player who has the most of the bank. It will be Freeze. He's got $4,100. Glaive, he has $3,400. But the rest of his team, well, they don't have even close to $2,000 on the mark, which means it's almost certainly going to be just a 5-man Glock buy. You see one Pu-250 entering the board. But even then, it's not going to be too much for them to try and play with.
Yeah, the one beneficial thing is that Freeze actually has quite a bit of money left to spare, so could actually go for an AWP or something of the sort in the next round. Not sure how much money they'll actually have. With 1,900 added on, I don't even know if they'll have enough for AKs on a couple of the players, so may even have to opt for pistols, unless, of course, they're able to get that bomb down. And, well, it looks like they're building up towards middle yet again. Angel getting ready for that sort of eco-frag money, and just waiting for them to sort of push aggressively. It looks like they're going to try and cross over. A nice, easy kill for Angel, looking for a little bit more. Freeze going to be trying to find something back, but will have his life ended as well. And so far, again, I think that's the second time now that bomb's been dropped in middle. Luckily, this time it's actually on their side, but Angel's still going to be holding the angle.
Yeah, the timer is going to be recording. We'll look to see exactly what's going to happen, but that is a huge shot from Sticko, just playing that pixel angle, and he makes it work. He takes down Valde, brings it back even further into the HR side of things, as now we look at Snappy and Glaive. The sway certainly not in their favour, as they're left just kind of going, well, what on earth could we possibly do? They're going to try and plot flash themselves out towards short, but Angel, he just says no and slams that straight back into their faces, taking them down with a quick succession of bullets. And HR now will find themselves on 6. Team X, their economy, it's somewhat back in check, but even then, it's nowhere near a painting that I want to be looking at. It's just a Tech 9 in play on Moddy, 2 Galils coming up on the force, and overall, in comparison to HR, just a smithering of what we want to be seeing and bring to the table.
Yeah, more importantly, they have managed to get themselves the AWP onto Freeze. As said, he had a little bit of money saved up over the last couple of rounds. Now we're looking what he can do. Those nades should do a nice amount of damage. Glaive really taking the brunt of those as he goes down to just 5 HP. Maybe an idea to switch the rifle over to Moddy and allow just the Tech 9 running, but it will be Freeze actually to get the first kill. So Sticko out of the round. The secondary AWP not going to come into play this time, as Smike now left with the only AWP on the CT side at least. And, well, again, it's just going to be slow middle presence coming out from the Team X side of things, taking no real aggression just yet, playing it passively and just allowing Freeze to sort of work that pick play. The only thing that may come into play here is somewhat of a counter from Bondic.
Snappy, we're just waiting for that aggression push to roll in from Bondic, and he in fact will be the first to fall. So now HR there looking fairly much on the kind of beaten end of this stick. It's not looking good for them at all. There's 3 men left standing. We've got the impact player Zero, who's had a fairly good game so far, backed up by Angel and Smike. You can't really pick apart any of these HR players and say they're not really playing too well. Bondic, the only player I feel like we've maybe not been shouting about too much. Now on the Team X side of things, they are looking solid. Glaive, he's got 5 HP on the board, so nowhere near enough to potentially keep him alive. He's got 4 teammates there still left to back him up. 30 seconds rolling on by. It's going to be the mid to B. Trying to put some aggressive down. All the Angel just playing towards the tips of the smoke. If he can spot them out, he could have a huge impact. But it's just not going to spot anyone. He will go for the spray, but it's just going to be a little too late. Valley going to find one of his own. Finally, Angel will pick up a frag. They're already over towards the B side. That bomb soon to be going down. And well, HR, you had an opportunity to fight this one back. They just let it slip right through your fingers.
And now looking at the remaining 2 CT players trying to make something work in this scenario. Smike looking to try and force his way back in, but there is smoke at every avenue. And already we're seeing the slight re-rotation back from Valde to just help his teammate out. Freeze sat in the corner, not going to go for anything too aggressive until the flashbang allows him to do so. And this round is looking pretty damn unlikely. Angel going to throw out a Molotov, which I'm a little bit confused by. Could have just kept that into the next round, but either way, they are going to be looking to save these rifles, do whatever they can, and the T's are going to be very happy just to keep this one and run away with the round.
It's important they've kept the AWP in the hands of Freeze. He's going to be very happy about that one, just keeping that one well and truly in check. Of course, on the HR side of the board, they're going to be able to get the AWP back in action on Smike. The rifles are going to be brought up to surround that one. It looks like we're starting to see a double AWP setup come into play. Now, CT side double AWP, we've seen it in the past. It's been able to deliver some interesting results. But on HR side of things, are you a fan?
I quite like the double AWP. In terms of the way they're playing it, I feel like it's fine. Both basically one per site and not really going for that aggressive mid-peak except with the secondary AWP, which is a little bit less risky. However, it's very, very costly. So if they are going to get reset, they're going to get reset hard. There's not going to be too much actual response. And the fact for me is, realistically, if Nade, Utilage, and just team play on Team X's side, they should be able to isolate at least one of these AWPs and make things a little bit easier. Sort of saw that come in previous fashion on the Dignitas side of Mirage, where they realized and just went for a very quick aggressive push. So I'm hoping that they'll take a little bit of an inkling from their Danish brothers and just go for some sort of the same. However, they are playing things nice and slow in this round. We do also have Bondic back towards the pit position, a much more standard setup coming out from the CT side, as not really going for anything too crazy, just a couple of players over towards B and then a slight rotation point at the moment from Angel. Either way, now comes the push onto long. It's going to be Bondic trying to defend this one off. No real support yet from Smike, and he's just going to have to do this all alone. Finds the first quick trade from Glade. No push actually coming in onto short, so it is going to be a one-pronged attack. And, well, a little bit risky.
The one-pronged attack is basically just trying to take a knife and plunging it straight into the chest of the CT side, but unfortunately it looks like it might just be fairly blunt. They're going to be creeping up nice and slowly. Smike will be the man to hold this one off with the AWP. A single peek could prove to be shattering. A sticker going to find himself one, takes down Molly. Now Smikey has to hit the shot, but Freeze just going to take him out straight through the box. That is nice, as Valde going to find one of his own, takes down Zero. And we are kicking things off in a fairly nice fashion. What seemed like it was falling apart for Team X, they are making it work. As now Angel and Sticko, the last two left alive. Angel got to find one of his own. Sticko going for the jump shots. Angel got to find another frag, turning around, try to go for the third. So it will now be back to this 1 versus 1 as it didn't work out. But time has run out. Well, Team X, what looked like they had a chance. They started to find the frags. But HR, they just slowed them down long enough to walk away with the round.
Yeah, Angel able to end that one just by spraying down the player on the bomb with only 10 seconds left. That is the sort of problematic factor of leaving things so very close. And, well, it do look like HellRaisers have the chance to bring themselves a little bit of a lead. Of course, we are looking at a pretty close scenario at the moment, and the economy of Team X is almost defiant of that, just showing how weak their economy actually is. However, a quick trade. Smike will find the first into Glade, but Modi's there with the Tech 9. There is now the potential to find another rifle, and in fact, I wonder if they actually drop one as well, so maybe even the possibility to find more, but it will be Sticko actually getting another frag, opening things up once again. Flashbang going to be thrown out. They're going to try and go aggressive onto him, and Valde will open this up, but he's taken so much damage. The only thing that's really in their favor is the fact that they've got loads of time. The other problem is they've got to try and cross back and actually get the bomb.
That is the thing. They have to get the bomb. Time is slowly ticking down. They will have a minute on the board, a minimum to play with. The one thing about time, it doesn't stop for anyone. That is going to be crucial for Team X. They need to clock onto this factor, stop playing with it just a little bit more carefully, and plotting their plan of attack perhaps just a little bit earlier. Now HR, they can be playing the much more defensive pack. You see Smike just positioned, perched down towards short, looking to see if a frag will walk into his crosshair. Bondic there to back up towards that CT position, just holding the crossfire. Zero just anchoring over towards B. And we'll have a feeling Zero's going to have his work cut out for him, because we can see Team X just edging their way up through upper tunnels. They haven't made a sound just yet, which means we won't see an early rotate rolling in from HR. But Bondic looks like he's hungry for some information, as he will be creeping up towards B.
Yeah, this is where we need to see the T's pretty much hit the heads all the way across the board. Zero's in primed and ready for this one. Finding the first. Now the remaining players have to push in. Snappy will grab one, so it is back to a 2 versus 2. The cross being held, and that's going to grab Snappy down low as well. The HP is very low between them. They will get the bomb plant, so that's something additional for them to play with in the next round. But now we have to see how they play this after plant position. Both players pushing in together. There goes Bondic. Should be able to grab the first. Now it's all down to Valde. Tapping away will be Smike, and that's a nice, easy retake in the end for the HellRaisers side. But at least they got a bomb plant.
The bomb plant certainly perhaps being a bit of a saving grace for Team X, helping keep their economy somewhat in a balanced situation. But even then, $3,000, Tom, I know if I was looking right now, I'd be pretty damn disappointed. Whereas on the HR side of things, they might not have the same sort of economy built up in the bank, but sometimes what's in the bank doesn't actually matter. It's what you can bring to the table. Well, they can bring rifles, they can bring the AWPs in play. And Team X, they simply can't.
Yeah, this is where their economy really has taken the hit. They're going to go for a quick rush B scenario. We saw these work in the last game, but it seems like Zero might have other ideas. He finds the first, does a lot of damage across the board. Sicko there to help, but actually it's going to be a straight-up frag. Taking him down, the bomb should be planted, but they're taking their time here. Glaive, he's the one with the bomb. He needs to cross over. And realistically, they're giving a lot of time to enable them to actually go through. Glaive going to go peeking, will actually grab himself a rifle, so there is a bit more potential into this round. It does look like, rather than just going for the plant, they're actually opting to try and win this round, which a hell of a lot more risky. It is likely they'll have some sort of a buy in the next round, but at the same time, the bomb plant could be so much more valuable. We'll see if they can actually pull this one off. Still a minute left on the clock. As said, the bomb is not planted, and realistically, the second they attempt to plant it, that'll be when HellRaisers strike, and that's going to be a huge problem.
One thing Team X will try and do is play with this seed of doubt, because they know time is on their side. This rolling on by will be this 50-second marker. HellRaisers aren't going to know exactly if that bomb has decided to head towards T-spawn. What have they got? Is HR, they just aren't biting. We might see one player, which will be Bondic, looking towards the tip of mid, but there are still two players just lying in wait for the cross to roll, and the smoke will go down. The deal has been secured. They're going to go for the cross, going to go for the plant, and surely this will be the time when HR just get themselves prepped to bite, as it will be this 3 versus 2 scenario. Modi on 15 HP. Glaive, he does have 100. If he can go huge, certainly on the cards. But even then, HR, they aren't going to want to let this one slide on by. As now we see just a little bit of utility being lined up with flashes. Set to pop. Smite going to be going very aggressive now, looking to make the information play. We're going to get taken down by Glaive, but now the real gun's going to be entering the fold. Angel to find the first. Modi looking like he finally wants to find one of his own, but it's not going to happen. Bondic to back up his teammate and will find the frag. Unfortunately for Team X, they might have found the plant, but they aren't going to be finding the man.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the 9-5 scenario now. HellRaisers looking pretty strong. We could see a repeat, though, of what we saw in the previous matchup, as we've already seen one comeback on the CT side. Of course, there will be that sort of buy-up coming in for the T side. Going to be looking to try and get themselves a 6th on the board. And, well, realistically, if this wasn't any other round, the last round and a half, I'd say that there is still a chance to break the HellRaisers economy. Unfortunately, they have spent everything up because of that very factor that they don't have a whole lot to play with. Either way, we are going to be seeing Sticko taking an early bit of damage. Tagged down to just 51 HP, and well, the T's again taking this one nice and slow, not going for anything overly aggressive just yet. Angel still playing over towards the mid position, a little bit of a lackluster defense over towards the A site, as he now plays much more aggressively towards mid. And in fact, this could work out very nicely in their favor. Really looking at the position of Smike, he's playing this position once, it hasn't worked out too well for him before. This time he will actually fall back, and we're looking at Sticko to see whether he actually re-peaks versus Freeze. It's getting pretty damn close to him just walking straight into that orb.
They're really just going to be teetering on the edge of death. They will go for a shot. Freeze. The Flash just going to deny him an opportunity to go for that pre-fire, which means, unfortunately for Freeze, there will be no pick this time around. Unless Sticko does the Sky to go for the rather, perhaps insane play and goes for the re-peak. But I think you can just take a look at the way he's playing this one, and, well, you can just tell it really isn't going to be taking place just yet.
Yeah, still waiting. 45 seconds on the clock. Not really decided which way they're going to be going, so still, either way they could. Middle aggression seems to be the answer. Angel going to be completely blind. Flashbang works out. It will be the trade again. Zero using the same spot on the scaffolding, but the rest of the players, they've gone towards short. They've tried to bait our rotation and just going to try and rush onto Smike. He'll find one. Looking for a little bit more on this point. He's going to find the second. Doing nice work. He's dropped the bomb. Only 20 seconds left. Freeze will catch him jumping, and that's going to leave 20 seconds left. They've got to grab this bomb. The position isn't bad, but Bondic not looking in that direction at all, just standing still. Will finally switch over, but looks like they should have the opportunity now to get that bomb down and go for the clutch.
Bondic just a little too late to bite, and almost a disappointing decision to roll out, because now he's not only got a bomb ticking away, but he's got an AWP just bearing down his chest. He will throw a defensive flash, but it's just going to lead him getting spotted out even further by Freeze, as they will just be making sure he buys this time. Sticko is going to go aggressive, plays the distraction card, makes it work, takes down Freeze. Zero to back his teammate up, and now Snappy, he might find one. It's not going to be enough to walk away with the round. Now the defuse soon to follow suit, and HR will walk away with just another round on the board, securing the end of that half.
Yeah, a convincing half from HellRaisers, looking pretty strong to go into the second. Have to say, we are going to be looking towards that pistol on the Team X side of things and whether or not they can actually ball this one out.
Of course, it's going to be that 10-5 scoreline, and now I'm going to be looking to see Team X on the CT side. I've said that they have been known to have a relatively good CT side, but I did want to see just a little bit more depth in their strategy. But overall, I'm not going to be going into this one 100% confident. It's going to come down for me to the buy rounds they can bring to the market. The pistol round is going to be important, but I don't want to read too much into this one just yet. Now we do see just a couple of shots being routed away. Glaive knocked down to 84, but most importantly, Sticko knocked down to just 9 already.
Yeah, looking for this pistol start now. Already they've done a lot of damage, but not enough to really warrant them to take this round. At the same time, we are going to see the aggressive push now, tapping away, doing a little bit more, not finding a frag just yet, and this is going to leave a whole lot for Freeze to do. They're all gathering up on short. Don't have to really take this push, but looking at the position of Sticko really gives a sort of inkling that the A site is going to be their hit. We see the line straight and ready. It's lined up on that CT side, and the rotation should be coming in, but still don't have to wait too long. They've got a minute left on the clock. They can take as much time, and looks like now they are going to set up the remaining nades that they have. Of course, a couple of P250s, still not the best for the long-range aggression, which should go into that CT-sided favor, but it looks like they're just going to go for a frag. They're now going to go aggressively into middle. They've gone for that late, long smoke, and now we're going to see Glaive take down one. It's going to be Valde looking for a little bit more. Not finding anything yet, but will connect eventually. Now Angel, he's isolated, but will still manage a frag. However, this rotation sort of tactic hasn't worked out. Modi's going to find one more, and it just leaves one man, Zero, to try and bring this one back. Looking for the frags, but it's not going to happen. Glaive will end his life.
So Team X, they've made the pistol round stick, but as I said in the past, didn't want to read too much into the pistol round, and we're looking towards these buys. The one thing we can take out of this is that HR, they can't let this one just gloss on by. They're either going to decide to go for the force up, which we're starting to see that inkling. The buy rolling in on Bondic, Zero, and Angel will bring the scout to the mark. The only player really looking to save. Taking the expected option will be Smike. But overall, the one thing that HR don't want to let do is let this one slide by. But it's the same thing to say about Team X. They should just be taking this one to 7 nice and comfortably, moving on to 8, and then going on to their buy round.
Yeah, this is where we look to see if the CTs can get themselves rolling a little bit. Of course, we have seen a lot of sort of force buy positions. But at the same time, let's see what can actually be done. Angel on the scout, really renowned for those sort of scoped rifle plays, but you never know. Snappy in position, trying to hold the cross. It is just mainly rifles, but we do see a couple of SMGs across the bat as well, playing a couple of more close range scenarios. But here we go. A couple of players building up onto short. Angel with the scout. Of course, looks like they're actually, they're going to go for a running boost? Nah, they're just going to try and edge him around this corner. Isn't able to spot anything out just yet, so may even go for an inkling that there isn't anybody actually on the site, which would be correct. Now looking more towards Snappy's position, and this is a good opportunity for him. The only problem is he doesn't have any armor, and they're going to be waiting to see how this one goes out. There's the flash to push him back a little bit more. 45 seconds left on the clock, waiting to see what HellRaisers are going to opt to do, and still not too sure of their actual decision just yet. Looks like they're going to be edging towards A, and now we see a rotation coming in from Freeze as well.
The timing has to be perfect, and it's just not going to work out. Angel going to go for a very aggressive peek with the scout, but he makes it work. Now the man just going to be flying across the map, getting himself nice and comfy over short. Freeze just being denied any opportunity to make anything work with the UMP at all. And what seems like a very bleak round for them to try and have a bit of an impact. The bomb will go down. HR doing what they needed to do. Now, can they hold things off? They have the one-man advantage. They have a lot of these pistols still standing. They need to force these rifles out of the map because we do still see them standing. Glaive already going to be going just a bit aggressive towards short. Angel going to come in with another scout shot, takes the head clean off of Molly. More damage being done, a flash to pop off and short. One by one they seem to be falling. Freeze, he's going to go aggressive, backed up by Valde. Some quick frags rolling in as Valde is stepping up huge in this round, finding 2 of his own. Bondic and Zero doing the work for themselves, but Valde, he's just still going. He doesn't want to stop. He's now going to be sticking the defuse. It's going to be taken away. Comes off, finds the frag, back on the defuse. He will go.
He got it.
He does
nice
have time.
work.
Can't knock him at all. 4 frags coming in from Valde, practically single-handedly securing that round for Team X, and a round that they should have had, but HellRaisers, they made that one damn close.
Yeah, almost managing to pull this one off. Still, a couple of players sort of slacking at the moment. See the fact that Snappy and Freeze really not having a good game just yet, but if any weapon was going to change it, it's going to be that AWP. A bit of an early buy for my liking. Not going to be able to do too much versus, well, they're just up against pistols, so you sort of expect them to win this round. A couple of Deagles in play, doesn't have any armor as well, so that scout is going to be just as deadly as the AWP, and that's a sort of scary factor for the AWPer on that CT side, however. They do have quite a few rifles to back it up, still an SMG onto Glaive, but not anything too crazy just yet, and yeah, really just waiting to see what HellRaisers actually have to offer. Again, they've been playing a lot of very slow rounds, building up into them and just making sure that all the avenues are clear. And, well, realistically, I'd quite like to see what they have to offer on that B site, whether or not we will see a weakness come out from the Glaive and Valde sort of duo. Although, with the rifle of Valde sort of backing up that position, you expect them to do quite well. A minute left on the clock. Looks like the bomb's still edging its way towards short, so not really too dedicated just yet, just letting their presence be known over towards B and then slightly rotating away. Obviously, still not expecting too much from this round, but if HellRaisers can do some damage, that would be great coming into a buy that should be available pretty soon. Of course, Angel having a little bit of extra money, that's why we see a buy in his hands at the moment. But it looks like they're going to go for some sort of running boost again. It worked nicely last time, got them past one of the players, and then the rest can just sort of run in after that initial distraction.
Marker is going to be running down. They need to do something. Will the distraction pay off? That's going to be the question. That's what I'm looking to see. As Free is now looking to repeat some Cajun BS success. The answer is going to be no. Angel coming once again with a scout, just doing full work. He might find himself one, but his teammates down. They need to do the damage for him. We Smite to find himself another frag, but Molly and Glaive, they're going to be up in the ante. Glaive going to make it to Valde. Now kicking back into gear, find a frag of his own. Well, the bomb is not going to make its way down. Bondic.
He needs to die. Oh, no, that was not like that.
Not like this, boys. Not like this.
And that screwed their buyout now, because they had been saving for that for quite a while to actually get a decent buy on the board. Instead, Bondic's just going to have to opt for a Tech 9. That is really bad. If he'd at least grabbed the rifle, then I could see the sort of idea behind saving. He would have had something to play with in terms of the next round, but instead, he's in a really problematic scenario.
Indeed. Now we take a look at what HR can bring to the table. At least it'll be the 3 rifles they originally saved for, plus that AWP in the hands of Smike. Gotta say, Angel, he's actually having a much bigger impact for me in terms of the sniper range battles. He's been doing some serious work with the scout. But overall, Team X on their side of the court, it will be the UMP in the hands of Snappy, looking to make himself some money. It will present him that opportunity at any point. It will be HR just looking to shut that one down. And of course, we still see the AWP in play in the hands of Freeze.
Yeah, going for a little bit of a bonus here, as they have taken so much damage in the last few that it's not surprising. Here goes Angel. This time, not a scout in play, has himself a rifle, and well, taking a little bit of a different angle, Freeze, this time. Possibly after the couple of attempts to jump across, he's going to take a sort of more aggressive angle in order to try and stop them from doing it, which I think is quite a smart decision overall. However, it doesn't look like they're going to be going for too much. The nade will do a little bit of damage, but not anything too crazy. And now actually going to fall back into the more passive position that we're used to him sitting in. Sticko going aggressive towards mid, looking for a little bit of early damage, but not finding it as of yet. And in terms of CTs, they're playing a lot of these rounds very, very passively, not going for any sort of aggression, not any information plays, and just basically waiting and then rotating very quickly. 30 seconds left on the clock again. HellRaisers letting it run down. It looks like, again, they're going to be building up towards that short position.
It's just the same old scenario. Freeze, he's got himself he just perched towards short. But the one problem he's got is the flash could do some damage, but he actually will look towards CT. Takes down the peak from Sticko, just helping out his teammate now. Just getting ready to kick into action. Can he hold this one? He will go for the peak. Misses the first shot. That alone could prove to be fatal. He's knocked down a 15 HP, trying to get aggressive towards CT, trying to stay alive. The jumping UMP is going to do so much damage, and it is over. No time on the board for Heisha to play with, and a jumping UMP going to be the man to secure that round. What is it with the obsession and jumping shots over towards A today?
Bondic survived again. That's twice in a row now. He's had no loss bonus and just had to go for a Tech 9, or just keep his Tech 9, I guess. And that's a real problem, because now, to sort of even out the cash, the rest of the team are forced around it. So, yes, they still have the AWP. As you said, you thought sort of Angel was having the initial frags. It looks like he was just going for a bit of a peek down mid, and now we'll swap it back over to Smike. But at the same time, that's twice now they've been caught out by time, and that's always been a sort of Ukrainian thing, I think. Like the Orgs anyway, Na'Vi, Flipside, very good at running out of time sometimes, but I've never really seen it that much from HellRaisers. I wouldn't say they were one of the teams that were really up to that sort of last second sort of pushes, and as we've seen so far, it has not worked for them. They've been caught out by the time factor multiple times already. Now Team X are starting to worm their way back into this one. Only one round behind after the initial half went 10-5. Yes, they had the pistol and follow-up, but at the same time, you have to wonder, was that sort of buy, well, it should have been better, really.
Should have been better, but unfortunately it just wasn't. And now we're looking at HR side still limited to 3 Galils, a Tech 9, and well, the one saving grace to me might be the AWP. But even then, it just feels like it has felt rather silent. As Team X, they might not have their own AWP in play. Do they even need it? They're playing very strong so far, just holding off these constant barrage pushes. Looks like B-site is going to be the target this time around. Glaive going to be playing this close angled corner. The first to fall will be Valde, soon to follow will be Angel on Bondek, and unfortunately it's just not working out. Valde dishing out so much damage, backed up by his teammate Glaive, and this B-site proving to be impenetrable. Sticko, he will find himself one, but the trade soon to follow. Modi going to be the man to do the damage. And Zero, he is the last man standing, the saving grace of HellRaisers. But he's a fairly weak saving grace. He's just one man with a Glil. He does have armor, but even then he might find himself a frag. He's in a 1 versus 3, but just take a look at that time. It's physically impossible for him to do anything in this round at all. He will pick himself up. Nice little M4A1S. But even then, that's all he'll be able to do in this round.
Yeah, this is going to leave him with something to play with. We've already seen quite a few times where they haven't been able to have too much in. I'd say in this sort of scenario, most of the time you'd save, but you do have to wonder whether or not it's worth going for something in this sort of position. And yeah, that is 3 times the round has now been won by time. Quite a scary prospect. Either way, we are going to see a little bit of a force. Angel going for the scout, I don't think is the worst case scenario for him, because he's been doing pretty well with it so far, but a lot of it's just been damage, and they haven't actually managed to win a round just yet, so things are starting to get a little bit scary for the HellRaisers side. As I said before, we have seen Team X with some pretty convincing CT sides, but Dust 2 isn't one of the maps where you normally see it, so hopefully we will see a round coming up on the board soon for HellRaisers. I'm hoping it's not this one, because that'll be a bit of a mistake coming out from Team X, but at a 10-0 scenario, we know anything is possible.
Anything is possible indeed, and if there's one thing for sure, Team X, they want to worm their back into things, because if they can start to build up some momentum, it could prove to be a bit of an unstoppable force. And we're talking about unstoppable force. Freeze, he's going to be back at it again, find another ult pick straight to the chest of Angel. As he's just left limitless in this round. And Sticker, well, they're going to try and go for a bit of a jumping boost out of short. That's not going to pay off. Bondek, he's going to be spamming away the Deagle, will connect the shot. Snappy finding one of his own. Backwards and forwards, we will swing. It's just going to be going in favour of Team X as they find themselves some quick and easy frags. Bondek trying to have a bit of an impact. Zero there as well with that other M4. But even then, you have to look at this one and go, well, just save. You've got 45 seconds on the clock. It might be a bit tough. That's the best option you've got, because you're in a 2 versus 4. HP just overall just doesn't favour you. Yes, Freeze is knocked down to 28 HP, but he's going to be taking those longer range gun battles, and unless you can claw a frag out of somewhere, you're looking fairly uncomfortable.
The thing for me in terms of the HellRaiser side in this round, saving, it's an option, but it's one I'm not sure they take because they've actually saved. That's the bigger thing. Like, they're going to have a buy in the next round anyway. Yes, they could have sort of gone with the M4s, but instead they have the AKs. The only real problem child is going to be Zero, who saved in the last round and will buy back up with an AK instead of an M4, or in fact a Galil. So he gets some extra nades on the board. Now they're going to be coming back into things. The only problem is, well, I was going to talk about the money. I thought, well, you think about it realistically. How many rounds in a row is that now for Team X? What, 6? And they still don't have a lot of money built up on the board. A lot of damage has been coming in across the board. However, they do have 6k on one player, so realistically that is equal plus a little bit to an AWP, so still the possibility for that, but there is still a huge chance for HellRaisers to actually reset this one. But here's Freeze, holding the angle, ready with the AWP.
Just a couple of shots being rattling away, nothing quite connecting just yet. So Smite now finally going to find one of his own. Bondek picking up another, takes down Freeze. Backwards and forwards, it seems we're going once again. As the Seesaw is just going to be rocking away. Modi going to find one of his own. Valde trying to have a bit of an impact, but unfortunately he's finally going to be shut down. As now you take a look at the HR side of things, it's going to be a 4 versus 1. They're going to be just running away to the hills with a grin on their faces as Glaive is the last man standing for Team X. He's got an M4 in play. He has the head armor, one smoke. In 1 versus 4, you have to almost just go down that impossible route because he has no opportunity to get himself back into this round.
Yeah, looking like finally HellRaisers have managed to do it, and because of the amount of damage they've done over the previous rounds, there's definitely a sort of idea of being able to hurt at least that economy of the CT side. We have to look at what they actually have to offer. It is potentially enough for a buy, especially with the swap coming in. It looks like we have actually seen a pause called in from the HellRaisers side. I imagine that's something technical. And, well, actually, No, I don't think that's... I think that must be a technical pause, because we wouldn't say 30 seconds otherwise. But at the same time, well, realistically, it looks like Valde's here to play again. Snappy still down the bottom of the board. We've seen some impactful frags coming from Freeze on the sort of second half of things. On the other side, Smike has quietened down quite a lot, and I'm really looking for him to step up with that AWP. Zero, normally a player that we mention as being one of the highlight players, one of the big players, has not been there too often at all. And, well, Bondik, another big fragger for this team. Angel, however, not someone normally at the top, stepping up quite big, so sort of counteracting at the moment. But the way I look at it, you've got Angel stepping up, you've got Sticko doing some work. If Zero goes up with them, they'll win the map.
You say that, but let's just talk about what seems to be the Valde show. Let's just take a look, 22 to 11.
Yeah, going
It's just
very
playing
big.
unstoppable once again. We've been shut down here and there by HR, but overall, it's him dancing around these smokes, just looking to really fan the flames when it comes down to these aggressive pushes. And it has worked out, but at the same time, we are in that 11-11 scenario. This could literally put swing either way. So the question I present to you is, do you think this is going to backwards and forwards right down to the wire? Or you seem to be very much selling the HR side of things. Do we think that HR finally, they're going to pick up 1 or 2 rounds and then string together and push ahead?
Well, in terms of the game, realistically, the next round is going to be the crucial one. But at the same time, well, you talk about the way this has been going so far, it looks like it's been going more in streaks. It's only been the sort of Team X side that have had that problem of getting rounds together on their T side at least, but then when they went on to CT side, they got 6 rounds in a row. So you have to sort of look at that fact that they're going to come in with somewhat of a buy in this round. Freeze has already got his AWP, so I imagine the rest of the players will buy up around him. The only real problem is that sort of reset ability. Like, both teams have the potential to be reset in this round, and realistically that should be a couple of rounds for whichever team actually win it. So in terms of whether I think it's going to be backwards or forwards, I don't really know. It depends how the rounds actually pan out, but a lot of it looks like it could end up streaking a bit because of the economy, and I definitely think if sort of Team X get this one, they're going to break that economy, remove the loss bonus even from the equation, as it will send HellRaisers right down to 1400, and then we could see them streak. The same on the other side, though. Team X, if they sort of don't win this round, then they're only going to get 1900, and you have the same problem.
Indeed, and well, the one interesting factor for me is we kind of mentioned this seesaw effect of going upwards and down constantly to both of those teams, but in the second half, it's still for me been the seesaw effect, but the outcome has always been in one side up until now. So that's always kind of an interesting point to touch on. But either way, we've talked about this weighted seesaw. Now it's time for us to see how this one will unfold. We're back in action on this 23rd round. This tech or tactical pause, whatever it may be, has been solved. Well, now we look to see what HR can bring to the table. They've got those 4 rifles. They've got the AWP, of course. It's a similar buy coming from Team X. But some would say slightly disadvantaged because they have the UMP in play in the hands of Body.
The UM play. There you go.
Play.
That's what it stands for, in case you didn't know. But
That works.
we are going to see... What can I see? This time, and well, Valde up close and personal. A lot of damage being done through onto him, and a little bit of counter coming up, but not anything too major just yet from Snappy. There goes Valde. He's lost his head. And there goes the Valde show, I suppose. As I don't know how he's going to conceive this one without a head to play with. But here goes Freeze, trying to open things back up. He will find that frag. Nice work onto Angel. Smike looking for the trade, but Freeze looks like he might have this one down. And there he goes. Drops the bomb, but that's not going to be the big factor. He's dropped his fellow AWPer. And now we're looking at Bondik pushing through. Oh, what? Shouldn't have found that frag. Muddy missing the spray. That's going to be Bondik getting a little bit lucky with that one to bring it back to a 3 versus 3.
Indeed, it's going to be hitting closer and closer by the second. We're coming down to that 30-second marker, and all I've got to say for a start is HR, please don't let this one run down to the wire, because the amount of times you screwed up scenarios when it comes down to time, I don't even think we can count it on our hands. But now we're down to 20 seconds. We're getting very close to that marker. They're not even grouped up as a team. They're in 3 separate avenues, trying to go for this 3-prong attack, but they're just going to be dismantled in each and every push. Snappy to find the first, Freeze to follow up with the second, and Zero is going to be the last man standing. Just having zero impact at all in this round, it seems, just really not being there for his team. They made no effort to group up at all, and well, he might save. You have to talk about the impact of going for a save in this sort of scenario.
Yeah, this is where we look towards that T economy. I do think it's the better factor for Zero, as he would have only got a little bit of money, but that's the sort of break Now we're going to look what they can do with just some pistols. They will get themselves 1900 into the next round, which if you sort of do it mathematically, you can say that the minimum they'll have is Bondic on a sort of AK and armor. They have sort of made things work with the Galils, but the real problem for me with this T side of HellRaisers is time management. It just seems to be way off. They're leaving themselves with little to no time, and more on the fact that even when they have a little bit of time, it's getting so close that they have to rush things and try and just go aggressively into sort of positions. And well, Freeze even going to add insult to injury, finding the first frag of the round, leaving just Angel left, and this is looking like a complete turnaround at the moment unless HellRaisers really can step up and find something new. Team X, you have to remember, just moments ago, we're 5 rounds behind. They've now on 7 of the last 8. And not looking too convincing from HellRaisers at the moment.
The comeback seemingly alive. Valde kicking back into action, finds himself a headshot, takes down one. Looking to follow suit with the rest of his teammates. HR, they are just a grouping of 3, so nice to see them grouped up. They haven't got the bomb. They are pushing straight out towards the B site. I'm hoping someone finally just kind of clock onto this fact and will go back. Zero will pick himself up a frag. Snappy quick on the trade. Perhaps this time they get the bomb. Might just kill them, as that has allowed Valde to pop in, take down Bondic, and Sticko left all alone. Mainly down to the fact that he had to run back and just get that bomb.
In a 1 versus 4, not really holding my breath about this one. 26 HP, no armor, no nades. Now nothing, as he will be ended through the box by none other than Freeze, and he's definitely starting to wake up a little bit into this one, evening up his scoreline. Valde still topping the frags on both teams at the moment. Angel has gone a little bit quiet since he stopped using the scout. But now we see a buy back up on the board. More importantly, we've got Smike on the AWP, just about enough to get it with some Kevlar as well, which does mean he can at least take a little bit of damage, but at the same time, now is where we need to see HellRaisers step up. If they lose this one, they will be going back down to next to no money, only, say, 2,400 on the board, and not really anything to rave about. At the same time, if they win this round, the CTs were in the same predicament. Neither team really able to build up a solid economy in this game. We haven't had too many sort of strong rounds come out from either side, and realistically, that's what we need to see. I think Team X have lost players all over the shop in almost every round. I think the max they've had is 4, and even that was probably about once. Now, again, looking like it may be some sort of A play. We've got 1 player over towards long. There is a player still in tunnel, so realistically there is still the potential to go in that direction. That's the one big thing about us too. You can be very quick with your rotations, switch the way you're going in a matter of seconds and still get there. However, I do not want to see HellRaisers playing this time too low. This would be a really big problem for them. I don't feel like it's too necessary. I think Team X have started to save nades a little bit later, knowing that this could be the case, and I really want to see them just speed things up, maybe even just like aggressively go towards B and middle at the same time and try and just force the issue. However, again, it looks like it's going to be a late play coming in towards short. 40 seconds left, a little bit more than we've seen previously. Could even be a fake at this stage, but let's wait and see. It's going to be coming out mid.
Valde to find the snapping straight to the head of Angel. Sticko going to be bringing things straight back into their favour. They will find the trade. But now this clock is running down. 25 seconds rolling on by Zero. It will secure that side. Takes down Glaive. The bomb nearly being caught off guard. Just playing around window. Freeze. And now find himself another frag. Just making it 2. Takes down Sticko. Just dismantling them. And now, well, we said the bomb was in window. They screwed around with the time just too damn much. We're running down to this 5-second marker soon. Zero is still just trapped over towards mid, going for a quick aggressive push towards CT, trying to see if he can pull 2 frags together in the nick of time. But the answer is still going to be no. And the most hilarious fact about me is that you describe them playing with time as if we've not seen it time and time again. But this isn't the first time HellRaisers have screwed up when it comes down to time management. This isn't the first team in this tournament that have made the same mistake. We sort of got sent in the very early days of them playing their group matches. And it feels like, you know, we've seen it at least 8 or 9 times from HellRaisers so far.
Yeah, definitely looking quite problematic for them now that the time is coming into factor. That time I feel like it was a little bit more unlucky, but at the same time, if it's happened that many times, then you have to be a little bit worried.
I've got to say, is it luck to stand in window with 3 players and not push through and just get picked off and keep re-peeking an AWP over and over again? Because to me, that doesn't feel like luck, unless someone is pressing...
But that's not so much time, that was just stupidity.
Well, I mean, they could have looked at the time and
At
clocked
the same
onto the
ti-
fact they had 20 seconds.
You have to talk about the fact that they're, after the bomb was dropped, I feel like they were just trying to stop the fact that they would get dropped and then push in as a team. But unfortunately, it didn't work. They went for the overall duels. And, well, you look at the amount of rounds that has now been won, it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. 9 rounds out of the last 10 going the way of Team X. They only need 2 more to actually win this one out. And, well, looking at the sort of scoreboard, it's not even looking like we're going to have a bye in play.
Indeed, and well, maybe this could be the tactical for HellRaisers, because we did discuss the fact that we didn't know if it was a technical or a tactical in terms of what that previous pause was, and I think this one would more make sense if it was that case. We don't quite know, but there we go. It's going to be another tactical pause coming for HR. They've only taken one. That previous one was a technical. And now they get this 2-minute kind of just lull to sit back, relax. We've seen a very dominant half coming in, but this is the factor on Dust 2. You just take a look at the scoreboard and go, well, it was a very dominant side coming from HR very early on, but now it's the complete flip side on Team X's CT side. They've just strung all these rounds together. It's very much been a streaker of a game, and albeit with the rounds have been very much seesaw, the outcome of the rounds, not so much.
Yeah, we are going to be ticking back down to see what HellRaisers can at least try and achieve with these pistols. As said, they will be saving for this one. Still not a lot of money on the Team X side of things. Only really Freeze with anything to play with, which does show how close this series really has been. It's looking like it could still come down to the wire, but at the same time, the monetary position is just not there for HellRaisers. They're going to be just with pistols, 3 Deagles in play, a couple of P250s on the board as well. And finally, we're going to see a switch up. They've actually taken over long.
Indeed, that just gives them a bit of map control, and also they seem to be doing it in a much quicker pace, just creeping on nice and slowly, but at the same time they've got themselves out. 1 minute 20 to play with. This should be a nice and easy slice for them to try and pull off now, as Freeze already knocked down to just 19 HP, looking fairly rough, just trying to make use of these pistols, but now they've had second thoughts, they've rethought their life choices, and appear to be just exiting long, slowly but surely, and going back to this time-based play, just deciding, you know, we could head towards short, we can try and push through mid. I did like their chances heading up through long. The one problem they may have had was this double stack taking place on short. But overall, maybe if they can just dip straight through B, but even then CT now going to be contested by the hands of Glaive.
And we are going to see quite a heavy presence over towards short at the moment. Moddy going to be up on the boxes. Nade going to be thrown out, which could even take 2. Nice work from him. Not going to allow anything to happen in this round. As now we see Bondic in the corner. Going to be trying to at least find the kill onto Moddy. They're just looking pretty bleak at this stage. Sticko will get one. Looking like they're at least still doing damage. There's no such thing as a clean round in the book of Team X, at least in this map. I'm really waiting to see what the T's can do. They're just going to go aggressive now, pushing through it. Nice and easy frags, cleaning everything up. They hit 15, 1 round needed, and HellRaisers lose the first map.
And that's the thing, the one nice thing for HR is they have a buy round back on the board. It's not going to be the most picture-perfect round you've ever seen in terms of economy, but they can do it. So they've got 5 rifles back. Now you look on paper and you look at Team X, this should be, you know, clear cut. We should be seeing a 16-11. Team X have been unstoppable so far. Is anything going to change? Personally, I don't believe so. If they're on 15, also stop them from just taking one more nail straight in the chest of HellRaisers and walk away with this first map.
At least now there is a buy on the board. Looking to see whether or not HellRaisers actually opt to switch things up, or if they're going to go for a similar play, but Moddy actually going to be caught out this time. Sticko ready for that sort of aggressive push. He's been much quieter on that T side so far, of course. I think most of the players have, with the amount of rounds they've actually managed to win. But this time, looks like they're going to go and take long control, which, again, they haven't actually tried too much. There's a chance for them to even catch out Freeze, who's been playing very much over towards that short position, or looking towards that direction anyway. And if they can take down sort of support position of Snappy, there's a big chance, and that flash is not going to achieve anything. Already we're going to see one player back. Freeze will manage to grab one, but again, he's going to get caught out, and this leaves a round in the hands of HellRaisers. They've got a 2-man advantage. There's 2 in their way, and they're going to try and take this one. Well, they have to try and take this one, otherwise it's over.
Well, this is the thing. HellRaisers, there is no more times for them to make mistakes. It all comes down to the wire now, because one single mistake, one opportunity for Team X to strike, and that'll be their first map dreams done and dusted. Zero is actually going to get taken down. Valde going to be the man to do the work, so they are going to be edging it back into their favour. Team X looking to walk away. It will be Valde still standing, backed up by Glaive. We've seen the 2 players do some good stuff in the past, so I'm going to be looking to see what they can bring to the table this time around, but it seems like they have decided to go for the save. Just hedge their bets. They know they've got time to play with, so it will be HR walking away with their 12th round on the board. Yeah,
this is due to the fact that they don't have much money. That's been the big problem for them. They haven't really won too many rounds cleanly. Finally, we'll see one on the board for HellRaisers, but they've still got to string 4 more together to get this one to overtime, and it really has been a backwards and forwards sort of game. A long streak came out for Team X to bring themselves back and get themselves 2 map point. Of course, we are going to be going on to a map that they very much enjoy. We saw them yesterday on Cobble being absolutely phenomenal. Whether they can do that sort of performance again, that's another thing altogether. But if they could take this first map, then sure, they'd be feeling hella confident. Only need one more round. They will get a buyback on the board. If they lose this one, though, then they will have to take a reset. And, well, we could even see HellRaisers bring this back. That'll be the big thing for me if they can win this round. But it's all about winning this round first. Got the AWP in play on both sides. Freeze managing to get another one. That was where the majority of his money has been spent. Smoke will be onto short. Again, it looks like they're going for a little bit of a long push on both sides. The CTs have stacked 3 players into this position. And I almost feel a little bit sorry for Glaive, because over on B, he has had nothing to do.
I've got to say, this A setup from Team X, it's fairly standard. You put 3 players there fairly early on, see if there's a bit of a response, and then one player usually falls back away. They've got the response, so now they will just stay with 3, but it's not quite going to work out. We do see a trade rolling from Noddy, but it looks like Snappy going to find one of his own. Smike now doing the work with a pistol, backing it up with 2 frags respectively. We see Valley just making a mess of the frags on short. Going to be caught out from Angel from behind, and well, rapidly HR pulling this one back into their favor, because you just look at Glaive. He might be Glaive and he might be having a nice performance, but he's in a 1 versus 3, already knocked down to 76 HP. He has a flash in hand. And well, he's just going to be missing these shots back on towards Angels. Now looks like he's going to be caught off guard. He will find a quick flick, takes down Smike, back to a 1 versus 2. Now needs to take down Angel. He has no opportunity. He has to find this frag, but Angel is just going to be playing the time card. Knows the sticker is there, just going to be pushing up nice through CT, and it will actually be Angel just going with the repeat, knowing the insurance policy is there. Well, it might have been close, Tom, but it's not going to be enough. HellRaisers, they're going to get themselves to 13, looking to take it 2 steps further. Now their economy is looking better.
And now it looks like we're going to see some sort of pause roll out on the Team X side of things. I imagine this is tactical, setting up for what will be the last round. They're not going to have anything in this one, so it really is a big time for the HellRaisers side to come back after not winning. Well, they've won 1 round in the last sort of 11. Now they've won 2 in a row, so only need 2 more, and they have done the job to get it to overtime. Would have sort of wanted to take it in normal time, but at the same position, they haven't been able to do that. Now looking at the monetary position of HellRaisers, if they were to lose a lot of players in this round, then their buy would actually be suffering. That's the big thing for them. They don't have a huge amount of money either. The only real difference is you had sort of, what, 3,250, 3,500 onto their account, and they're doing absolutely fine. They have enough for an AK buy. The AWP hasn't had too much of an impact realistically. Yes, Smike's second, but not on frags, and I don't feel like it's done enough to really warrant the huge investment that it would take to do so. At the same time, that's really relying on a lot of damage coming in for Team X, and now I'm a little bit skeptical from them, because they've managed to do it all the way across the half. But just the last couple of rounds, things have fallen apart a little bit. They have missed a few shots. They've had some players where they could have actually won these sort of rounds. And in the last, I actually thought the 1v3 was going to happen because of the HP on the opposition side of things. However, this is their chance to take a minute, to take a reset. They then get a round to sort of think about what they want to do, whether they want to go aggressive, whether they want to take over long again, or play a more passive setup. In terms of HellRaisers, will they finally go B?
Well, that's going to be the thing. The one nice thing for HR, if they can make this one work and bring themselves to this 15-15 scenario, is that for me, overtime, I look at it as a fresh face. It's an opportunity just to, just grab some water, smash it over your face, take a break for a second, and get yourself back into things where you can just go, okay, right, our economy, it's at 16k, no need to worry about that. Let's just play this one like we're back into the server, fresh-faced on this pistol round, trying to kick things back off. And of course, in reality, there is no pistol round, but you get the point. It's that opportunity just to go back into things as going, right, this is map 1 all over again. We made our mistakes. Now it's time to build off of that and look to finally take things home.
Yeah, but at this stage, it couldn't be much closer. They should have a freebie in this one, and then it'll be an all-out brawl for the final round. But you never know. We've seen stuff happen with pistols before. In fact, while their MV Dignitas game gave us plenty to show, MV Team Spirit yesterday did the exact same thing, where MV definitely suffered against the pistols but could use them just the same. I think Apex's 3 Deagle headshots going through the side of Forklift on Cash, it's not going to be something I'll forget for a while. Very impressive stuff from him. Boy, what you have to remember is the real big thing for me in this scenario is the fact that whoever loses this game has to face Envy. So that's just something you don't want to do in general. Yes, you want to get to that land. That's the main objective. Like, you're not going to say no to facing them if you lose this game, but at the same time, you don't know which Envy's going to turn up. Will it be the Envy that lost 16-6 to Team Spirit yesterday, or the one that beat them 16-6 twice and was absolutely dominant on on the T half, what, 14-1? Just insane stuff, and ended up just damaging Team Spirit all the way across with pistols. Either way, looks like we are waiting still. Just letting them get along with their pause, have their ideas. Maybe we'll see something a little bit fancy.
I think we should be coming to an end because if I remember rightly, it's just a 2-minute period to sit back and talk. So I think we are going to be looking to get back into this one now, which we can see swinging back into action. So now HR, the pressure still going to be mounting on their shoulders. An opportunity to, that really does mean everything that it says on the tin. Because if they screw up even once, minor mistakes could send them out of this first map. But now there should be a nice and just open and cut round for them to take. Just pistols coming on the board for Team X. Only really deagles being brought up. USPs, they're left to be bewildered. So overall, this should be a nice and easy round. The last time we said that about pistols, we saw some vastly different mechanics taking place.
Already, Freeze will be going down in this one. As said, this isn't the one they've been pausing for. They pause for the next. So they've got their plan. This one's all about just styling. Trying to do it a little bit earlier than before. Snappy, just going to be saving completely. Still a couple of Deegs in play, so never going to rule those out. But at the same time, well, I do feel like this is much more important for the HellRaisers side this map. Because you have to remember the main reason they were very good at Cobblestone. Yes, Bondic was always good at it, but it was that Oscar prowess. He was incredible at that map. So very good. Casting that map with him playing was always a pleasure, but now he's not there. They don't have that sort of carry scenario. They will have to do so much better. Either way, still playing things very, very slowly in these rounds, and I said that has been a detriment to them in the past. However, in this scenario, it should be nice and easy. Haven't even taken a point of damage just yet. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything that Valde can do. Maybe take a frag, but that'll be it. Nice clean round. Now, Bondic, 4 frags. Now it's all down to this final round. 30 will be the amount of rounds played unless we head to overtime. And that's going to be the main prospect now for HellRaisers. They've got their money. They can buy anything they want. Still a little bit lacking on that CT side, but they will have the majority of nades in play. And it's going to come down to those individual players. Can they make this one work? Smike not going to be finding anything down mid to start things off, but they are going to go for a little bit of a long push on the CT side.
We can to start to see that map control kicking into effect. Seeing just one member over towards long. It will be Bondic, backed up by his teammate Zero, just pushing over towards B. Modi looks like he wants to get up close and personal. Give Bondic maybe just a bit of a love bite. The same story just being told over towards tunnels. Team X looking to get very aggressive, really all over the place, just tagging down Zero already, just a small slither being dished out. Glaive actually going to be able to take the brunt, knocked down to 46 HP. Just they will be backing off on towards the back of this B site. But even then they have some information to play with as Team X are looking to take this one well and truly home. HellRaisers on the other side trying to force us over to the overtime scenario. The clock is going to begin to tick down. Smite looking for something towards short, seeing if anyone will come his direction. The same story really being told about every member of HR. They're all just searching for a pick, seeing if Team X will give anything up at all. But the CT side, they are hunkering down, just kind of playing their cards very close to their chest. No opportunity, no over faces. That could prove to be quite useful. Now the clock's still going to be ticking down. We're getting to the 50-second marker. Really just living true to the slow style that HellRaisers like to bring to the table. For Team X, they are not having any of it. They want to go for an aggressive push. Val, they're going to find one. Takes down Zero. Already a frag rolling on the call for Team X. They want to take this one step further. Yeah,
and this has actually left them in a little bit of a missed position, because now the bomb, it's alone. It's got a little bit of support coming in from Bondic, but the remaining players, they're pushing onto short. They're trying a very sort of overzealous strategy for the last round of the half. They're going to try and sort of fake this one off and then push back. But the fact is, there's still 2 players for them to deal with on B. There's 3 towards long, and soon they'll realize. But this is going to be the split. HellRaisers, they may have made this work sort of in the strategy, but this could be it. The bomb is still isolated. There's just no time. That's already it. They've done it. The first map's going. It doesn't matter what happens here with the remaining 2 players. The bomb is in tunnels. There's 3 players on the other side of the map. And again, HellRaisers have done it themselves. They've lost themselves the round. And that's going to be the time being played. And, well, that's a nice little profile you got there, bud. But there, Valde, top of the board. Angel, Sticko sort of up there with him. But it was all down to time. The fragging problem wasn't there. It was all down to time.
Indeed, the amount of mistakes that are made, it's just extremely disappointed to say the least from HR. I'm looking to see if they can fix this in their second map. Because if they don't, I'd almost just go far as to say a quick and easy tour. Because these time issues, they are proving to be fatal. They're losing them rounds after rounds after rounds.
Yeah, and I would say on the T side of Cobble, sometimes playing it that slow is definitely not necessary. I would have liked to see them speed things up. I think that may have actually been one of the first times they've gone B the whole of the game. Either way, that is it for Map Mom. We will be coming back shortly for the second, which will, of course, be Cobblestone. See you in a moment.
Well, this is awkward.